And we have the high honor and privilege to meet a guy, to speak to a guy and meet a guy who I'm a big fan of, and I've never met him. But the fact is, he is brave, and he met his wife to be at Tiffany's in St. Paul. So I have a lot of respect for this man. And Mike McFadden, how are you, my friend? How you doing?
Dan, I'm doing great. It's great to be on your show this afternoon. Thanks for having me.
It's a real privilege, and it's a treat. And I got to tell you, I've been following your announcement because I followed the last race real closely between Norm Coleman and Mr. Franken, and one of my great concerns was fundraising, and I believe it was May or June. You've had a really couple of banner months, and you've got to be feeling pretty positive about the campaign right now. And I look at your background. I look at how you've mentored kids at I think it was a Jesuit school just south of Minneapolis, right?
Correct. Inner city school, just in the Phillips neighborhood, just south of downtown.
Cristo Rey. I got it now. Yeah, Cristo Rey. And I think about all your kids. You have a large brood. You've been a successful businessman. And I've been dying to ask you this question. What made you decide to do this? And I know you revere a lot of good senators who are there right now. And you're talking my language. Small government, less bureaucracy, getting things done, attacking the debt limit. So I know you've got a good, strong force behind you in Minnesota right now. How are you feeling about the campaign overall?
You know, Dan, I feel great about the campaign. I'm running for office for the U.S. Senate because we can do better. We need better leadership in Washington. We need better leadership in Minnesota, and I can deliver that. And we got some great news last week. In case your listeners didn't see this, St. Cloud State released their poll, which is a very well-respected poll, nonpartisan. And Franken is at 39% approval rating, 39%,
wow.
51% disapproval rate. He is dropping like a rock. This Unaffordable Care Act, which he was the 60th vote for, which he promised Minnesotans they wouldn't lose their insurance. It's a huge problem.
Did you see that impish, almost cowardly press release last week? I might consider it a certain delay in certain. This is one of the staunchest supporters of the president and Obamacare, and like you said, the Unaffordable Care Act. Obviously, a lot of the disaster that this bill has brought forth being enacted is certainly not weighing well on Mr. Franken. I believe this guy is completely a different candidate than he was just 6-7 months ago, and he is very, very beatable. And it's just sad that the American people are waking up so late, but I think they're finally starting to get it.
Well, Dan, just as long as they wake up soon enough before the election, and they are. I mean, I'm going around the state and I'm talking to Minnesotans. They're very upset. 140,000 families lost their insurance in spite of the assurances from our president that they wouldn't. And it's not just statistics, Dan. It's, they're real stories. I was with a young man the other night. He's 29 years old. He's just started a new job. He has diabetes. He lost his insurance last week. He went on to the exchange. The new policy in the Unaffordable Care Act is going to cost him 2 times what his old policy is going to cost him. He doesn't have that money. He's very upset. And this is an issue that Franken has to own. As you said, he's the 60th vote for Obamacare.
Yep. I'm curious, and I'll certainly get to more details in a minute, but what do you have, 6 kids, I believe it is?
Yeah. Mary Kate and I, we've been very blessed. We have 6 children. I have 1 daughter who's right in the middle. Her name's Molly. She's a senior in high school. And I have 5 sons.
Was there a conversation with the wife and family about you jumping into this fray and what it would mean to the family? And obviously some sacrifice had to be discussed. What was their reaction for you about you jumping in this?
Well, Dan, they have been so supportive, and it was we did have a series of conversations, and we prayed about it, and we reflected on it, and Mary Kate and I, it's kind of interesting how our thought pattern evolved on this, Dan. Initially, the number one reason why we would not have done this was because of our kids and our love for them. They're our dearest assets. But as we continued to think about it and pray about it, we ultimately decided to do it because of them, which is 180 degrees from where we started. And we're doing it because of them for two reasons. One, which is pretty self-evident. We are very concerned about what we're going to hand to them, $17 trillion of debt,
right.
A healthcare system that doesn't work. We want them now to pay for our healthcare as we get older. That's not acceptable. So that was one reason. But a deeper reason, Dan, was Mary Kate and I have been really blessed. You know, my dad grew up on a farm. He didn't have anything. I grew up in a very middle-class family.
Well, isn't it true? You went back to work so Dad could actually get to college, and you kind of jumped in?
My uncle did. My uncle, you know, and that's America. That's what we do. We sacrifice. My uncle sacrificed and stayed on the farm after my grandfather died so that he could pay for my dad to go to college. And, you know, it's that sense of duty and sacrifice that's part of America, and it's really what we want to teach our children. You know, Mary Kate and I said, okay, running for this office is clearly outside of our comfort zone. It's good for our kids to see us do this, to stretch ourselves. We have to do it because it's important. We'll do better. We need to do better as a country. And so if we can impart on our children a sense of duty as a result of this, we will feel that we've done our job as parents.
Now, I know you're a St. Thomas man, and education is a very, very high priority for you and working with kids. And there's been a lot of discussion about some of the reforms needed and No Child Left Behind, and I know that's a priority for you. What are some of the approaches you're going to take on that if you can have a hand in it?
Well, yeah, I want to have a big hand in it. You know, as you know, Dan, we have the worst graduation rates in the country for Latinos and the highest achievement gap in the country. So, you know, Minnesota, we're not used to being last in anything, let alone education. And it's just not acceptable. You mentioned Crystal Reyes, an inner city high school I've been involved with. Our kids, 70% of them are Latino, and they come from very tough neighborhoods. And we have a model that works. 100% of our kids graduated last year. Of the seniors, 78% went to college. The ones that didn't go to college, Dan, went to the military. So we have a model that works. And there's a number of public charter schools that have similar results to us. And we do it for about half the price. So when I look at as an example, the Minneapolis public school system, which is spending $23,000 per kid, and they spend 64% of their budget on non-teacher expenses. That's wrong. It's immoral. We need to change things. And I'm going to work to change things. The U.S. Senate is a bully pulpit. We have to demand better schools in the inner city for our kids.
I was going to say that the unintended consequences of lowered expectations. It seems to me, from what I've read and what I've heard, especially the school that you're a part of in the cities, that there is no lowered expectations. There are standards. There is rigor. There is intellectual rigor, and you seem to have brought that value system into this project.
You know, Dan, it's pretty simple. We have very high standards and expectations for our kids, and we have great teachers. I just admire them so much. They truly have a calling, and I think in a traditional public school system in the inner city, that we have great teachers there also, but they're in a system that doesn't allow them to be successful.
And we get caught up. Yeah, we get caught up into piling on some bad teachers sometimes, when you and I both know, ladies and gentlemen who are involved in teaching, want to make changes, want to do the right thing, and are committed to these kids. But there is a bureaucracy and a system, and again, an ethos of lowered expectations that really destroy these kids. And we see the product every day. Yet yourself and so many good, dedicated teachers in Minnesota and across the country are turning out successful young men and women, regardless of stripe and creed and color, and we appreciate what you do. You've mentioned that Ron Johnson is a guy that you admire, along with a couple of other senators. Do you see a very quick alliance? I know the tradition is for a freshman senator to be somewhat low profile, and I think Ron Johnson rewrote the book on that one. Do you plan on being of that vein and being a very critical part of a lot of solutions?
Yeah, I love Ron Johnson. I think he's doing a great job. And Dan, one of the biggest issues we have in this country is that we've created a professional class of politicians.
Yep.
And frankly, we've done it on the Republican side, in addition to the Democratic side, and it's not healthy. We need people that are coming from the private sector that are going to go to Washington and serve. And Dan, underline the word serve.
Yep.
Go there and do something. Don't go there to be something. Go there to do something. And it's people like Ron Johnson. It's people like Bob Corker, who's a businessman that's a senator from Tennessee.
Yep.
That I think are doing a great job. They're making things happen. I want to go join that fight. I want to make a difference. I want to make us better.
Are you speaking to some of the GOP leadership within the state? Are they? And I'm trying to put this without. Well, there's been a lot of criticism of on the street Republican operations and reaching out, knocking on doors, not just planting a sign and leaving, actually talking to potential constituents. And how do you see the ground game working right now? And have you had a real strong personal hand in your own campaign on that?
Yeah, I have, and I'm going to work really hard at it. And I think we hit bottom as a party after the elections in 2012, in that November. We're on the way up. Keith Downey, our new chairman of the GOP, he's doing a great job. I love what he's doing. He's got a lot of enthusiasm. I played football with his brother Bruce. Just can't say enough good things about Keith. Kurt Dowd in the House, David Hand in the Senate. They have a good plan, and I think what we need is, as a party, we need to be singing out of the same hymnal. We need to be out there talking about this economy. We got to get this economy growing. We know how to do it as Republicans. The Democrats in this party, in this state, have not been able to do it, and clearly in this country have not been able to do it. We need to have a healthcare system that works. That's not the national government taking over 1/6 of the economy. We need to have an education system that is best of class. We should be the best in the world in Minnesota in education. And that's what we can do as Republicans, and we need to do it together. And I will help lead the way towards that better place that we will get to.
MikeMcFadden.com, MikeMcFadden.com. Mike, thanks for being courageous. Thanks for having the courage to jump in there. And we need more people who've come from the real world as in lieu of the professional politician and get in there and start helping us out and start bringing change. And I can tell you're a guy who's not afraid to lose the fight. That's why you jumped into this fight. And I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for your time today.
Well, Dan, thank you. And everybody, please, if you get a chance, go to the website, MikeMcFaddenforSenate.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike. Have a great day. Appreciate your time, and best of luck to you, pal.
Bye.
All right, we got to take a break. I'm Dan Conry, sitting in for the Oxman. This is AM 1450 1033 KNSI. We shall return.